Now in this video, I want to show you just the simplest possible data warehouse example that I can come up with to kind of help you understand where we're going here, where this data comes from, and help you understand the load process and everything. So let's start off with just this little sample database. I just made this up, and notice that we've got 4 tables here. This table obviously has our employee names. This table has our employee addresses, and you'll notice the common column EID here. Then this one has our orders. This is probably our order table or order ID table, whatever you want to call that. Order details is what it would kind of map to in the AdventureWorks 2012 sample database. But notice we have things like order dates here, products that were ordered, the product ID, the quantity, the price. These would be line items on an invoice, on an order. But then we have another one down here. This is some sort of HR information, human resources, the date I joined the organization, office code, base salary, gender, region office is in, that sort of thing. So if we wanted to create a data warehouse on this, all we want to look for is the data that we normally need to use for our reporting functionalities. What's the data that we're always wanting to look at? What can we do here to streamline that process? Pretty much any report at this point is going to be a 4-table join, pretty complex, and in the real world be a lot more than 4 tables. Even in our example, I'm going to tell you in just a second, I'll show you it would be more than 4 tables. But what we want to do is really just reconstitute or restructure this data. The data maintains the same meaning, it maintains the same relationships. We're just simply going to put the data in different tables and different forms to basically regroup it so that it's easier for us to both get our reports and our queries out of. But big thing too, we can start to do some data mining and some data analysis and so forth. So anyway, first quick glance here at this table, you'll notice there's some data here in this table down here that really is the bottom line of our business. We're selling things, right? And on 4/17/2011, 6 of product 5346 were sold for a price of $76.45 each. And so now we know business took place. And so that's great candidate type stuff for a fact table. And so we could create a fact table. And in our fact table, we would have the keys that we have, you saw in some of the other tables, our order ID, the order date, the product ID, all that type of information could be in there. And then I would put the quantity and the price. Now notice that we can pre-calculate data that we know we're always going to want to see in our reports. It's always going to be a hot topic, and that is the total sale for each individual sale and how much taxes we paid on that, or the taxable amount that we charge the customer, however you want to look at that. And so we're going to pre-calculate these. We can take quantity times price when we load this data into the fact table and come up with total sale. Then we can take quantity times price and apply a percentage to that and come up with a tax amount. And so that's one cool thing we can do here. And you'll notice this data, total sale and tax amount, did not even exist in our online transaction processing database, but we so often want that let's just go ahead, pre-compile it, and pre-calculate it, I should say, and put it in there, and then we'll have it. Next example, for the dimension tables, same data here, but you'll notice we have some information about who made the sale. Obviously, first name, last name, Mark Long, and I see a salary base in another location in the database. And that's something that we're always wanting to use because we're trying to determine how we pay our people, how is that affecting the sales they generate. And how long have they been here, is experience doing that, and what's the gender of this particular employee. And so we can create a sales dimension table, and notice we'll use the order ID there, right, because we want to get this information on every order. And so we'll pull the name, the gender, the salary base, the join date. So we're pulling data out of 2 different tables here, and we'd probably pull even more out. And notice you could have gone another way. You could have gone with a employee dimension table, and you could have tied it to the employee number, but here I'm tying it back to the order ID. And so anyway, lots of different ways to do these things. The way you would get order ID in here is you'd have to go out when you load the table, right, and do a join on the order IDs that are attached to this EID out there in the OLTP database. So anyway, you can see, and then we could find other information about the employee in other places, no doubt, and then start to load that in here as well. Also notice here in the actual OLTP database out there, in that table, it was first and last name as separate columns, and I'm going to concatenate those into one name because on all of our reports, we don't want to see two separate columns. Just give me the first name, a space, and the last name. We take care of that in the load as well. Then kind of the last one here, same information once again, but you'll notice that we have some region information and some city and state information in the address table pertaining to me, the salesperson, and I want to keep up with that. And again, we could keep up with all this information on our customers who's making the purchase as well, but I'm leaving that out right now for simplicity. We'll also grab the zip code there and even the office code. So notice we can look all over our database and find other data that we now want to relate differently for the purposes of reporting. And where this information was in different tables in the OLTP, we're now going to lump it all together in a dimension table out here in our geography dimension. EID, notice city, state, region. I didn't pull in some of the other ones that I had highlighted out there, and no doubt would find some other geographical information that we'd want to put in here as well. So I just want you to see how we're really just reconstituting the data we have into a different form because of the way that we want to query it. And that really is the heart and soul of the whole idea of data warehousing. I hope that helps.